Hey guys, it's Amber. Today I am here to talk to you guys about the 10 ways to have a successful first year teaching. That's really what we're going to go over today. And this topic is very important to me because during my first year, I wish that I could have seen a video like this of another first year or an experienced teacher sharing some tips and advice for how to have a successful first year. Tip number 1, plan. You have to plan for every lesson, okay? So as a first year teacher, you're typically learning the curriculum, you're learning your students, and whenever you're learning a new curriculum, you definitely want to make sure that you understand how to teach that lesson best to your students. It's definitely going to make your lesson come across much more effortless, and it's definitely going to make it seem much more professional if you are planned. It makes it seem like you are ready for the day. A tip that I always used to follow myself would be to plan as if you're going to get observed. Okay, so I know during my student teaching, I would always have my professors come in and they would be observing me, and my cooperating teacher that was with me during student teaching, she would also be performing different observations. And I remember for those lessons, I was always prepared. Like I had written out on the side of the lesson plan, I written out all of the notes beside the key points that I want to hit, what activities to do, which order to do them in, and sometimes I would just write out a script for myself and practice it. Until you become comfortable with a curriculum, I would follow kind of the same procedure because you definitely want to be prepared for your students. You want them to be engaged in your content, and you want them to actually learn something. And that's not going to happen as much as it could if you were planned, okay? You definitely want to make sure that your students are prepared to learn the material, which requires you to be prepared on your end. All right, tip number 2, make friends with your teamies and other teachers. So you typically have teachers either in classrooms around you, or you have teachers that are teaching on your same grade level, and I call those my teamies. So my teamies have actually become to be like some of my best friends. We confide in each other about everything. They just make your first year so much easier. So I highly recommend becoming friends with your teamies, really trying to get to know them. And it's always really good to bounce off ideas. I know whenever I was first trying to learn the curriculum that I'm teaching, and I definitely confided in my teammates to help me. And I was like, I'm struggling with this section of the lesson. How do I implement this? How do you implement this to your students? And they were able to give me tips, tricks, ideas. So definitely confiding into your teamies for advice is definitely the way to go. And they're just really good. It feels like somebody's definitely in your corner during your first year. And I know that it feels like you're going to be alone. You're alone teaching. You feel like this is a one-man job, but I promise it's not. You have to get in with your teamies, other teachers around the building. Like I teach first grade, but yet I still talk with those that are in 5th grade, regardless of grade level, regardless of subject area, just making sure that you're friendly to everyone. Because everybody is there to support one another. We're all in the same boat. We've all been through first year teaching together. So really try to rely on those people that are around you. Tip number 3, always be open to new ideas, okay? You want to be open to new ideas. It is easy to come in your first year and be like, I got this, okay? I have all of these that I've done for my student teaching, and they worked fine, and this is what we do for Christmas, and this is what we do for Easter, this is what we do for President's Day, Memorial Day, right? You may have all of these ideas for different activities that you're doing. It's really good to take in other people's ideas, other teachers' ideas, because they may have been doing this longer than you have, or it may be their first year as well, and you're learning different tools that they use that worked really well for their students. So just recognizing that each one of your students are different, they learn differently, and to have different ideas than what maybe you're used to is going to be very, very beneficial to your students. Tip number 4, have a relationship with your parents, okay? My favorite way to do that is during parent-teacher conferences when I actually get to meet with the parent. In the beginning of the year, I have the parent fill out a survey about their child, and that will tell me their strengths, it'll tell me their weaknesses, it'll also tell me some areas or goals that their parent has for their child, okay? Those are goals, and I refer back to that sheet all year long because those goals are what I'm really striving for when it comes to making sure that a student makes a year's growth or succeeds at the end of the year, okay? Usually parents have pretty good insight as to what their students need because they have obviously been with them since the beginning of their school career, okay? And you're just now meeting their child. So definitely making a relationship with your parents. It'll really making sure that they understand that you have their child's best interest at heart will make the year go by so smoothly. I promise it will. You love to use ClassDojo. ClassDojo is an app where you can keep track of all of your students. You have parent contact information on there, so you can send messages. You can give points to your students for good behavior, and it automatically sends a message to the parents letting them know how their child is doing in class. So I also love to do once a week parent phone calls. I don't do it to every single parent, okay, because if they get phone calls every single week, some, not all, but some would probably get highly frustrated. So what I would suggest is if you notice that a child who typically has behavioral patterns, and this week they had a really, really good week, I would definitely make a point to call that parent by the end of the week, if not that day, and let them know your child is so awesome, and I'm so happy that they're in my class. They had a really good week this week, and really just trying to brag on your students and really sending a lot of positivity because parents are used to getting negative phone calls. They're not used to getting the positive ones. So it is definitely a good habit to definitely set aside time to call parents and let them know that you are proud of their child, right? That you are proud of all of the success, the effort that your child has really put in either this week, for that day, and definitely strive to make the classroom environment a positive one by using parent contacts for sure. Tip number 5. Make a point to know your classroom management style. How do you want to reward your students and how do you want to reinforce their behavior? How are you going to reward their behavior? Are you going to let them go to the treasure box? Are you going to give them a point on ClassDojo? Are you going to have them use a clip chart and go clip up? Okay, what happens when they get to the highest area of the clip chart? What's your plan for that? What is their reward going to be? Are you going to make a parent phone call? Are you going to give them a piece of candy? Are you going to let them have a job for the day? You need to make a decision on what your classroom management style is. Tip number 6, take time to understand the behaviors that are in your classroom. Every child wants to follow the rules, okay? They want to. They need to know that their teacher cares about them, okay? You need to really get to the root of what is causing those behaviors, okay? So it could be something going on at home. This is things where you start to build that positive relationship with your student. You need to get to know them and who they are. Why are they acting out? Instead of just reinforcing their behavior, you need to talk with them. Like, what's going on? Are you sick? How are you feeling? Like, really trying to give your students the benefit of the doubt. Tip number 7, you need to stick to your schedule. Just stick to your schedule. I know it's difficult because sometimes at recess it's a beautiful day and you just want to stay out. Just maybe 10, 15 minutes later. But something that someone once told me was, every time, every additional minute that you are going over in your schedule, your student is missing valuable information in a lesson, okay? It is taking valuable time away from another subject area that they need to be getting content in. Definitely making sure that you are sticking to your schedule. It's going to make you happy, it's going to make your students happy, it's going to make your administrators happy. So you need to stick to schedule. Tip number 8, you need to take risk in your lessons. If you are afraid to try an activity, you need to go for it, okay? I remember one activity that we were doing, we were learning about the different moon phases. And I decided it would be a great idea to get out bingo daughters and let's paint our computer paper with bingo daughters to show the different phases of the moon. That would get paint everywhere. Needless to say, that did happen, okay? And the content didn't get across as I expected, but that's okay, okay? You don't know that until you try it. It is so important for you to take risk, because I can tell you that my students had so much fun in that activity, okay? Even though the content wasn't to the level that I would have expected, it was much more fun than if I were to sit them on a carpet and go through a PowerPoint slide, okay? It's so much more fun for them to get their hands dirty in a little bit of paint, and it can always be cleaned up. Try to take risk in your lessons. It will make you have so much fun, and it'll make your students have so much fun during the lesson. Tip number 9, attend every meeting, okay? PLC meeting, grade level meeting, staff meeting, professional development meeting. You need to attend every single one. As a first year teacher, all of this information that you're going to be getting, or most of it, is probably going to be new information for you. Your school is having these meetings for a reason. They want to inform you of something, some new procedure that they're doing. The school is there to support you, and you need to be there for every meeting. There's something that's going to be important for you to pull out, even if it's something that's just a positive message. If you end up missing a professional development, you're probably going to have to do all the professional development yourself, and it's just so much easier if you stick through the staff meeting and just listen to all the content, okay? And plus you could learn something new, so that's always good. Last tip, number 10, stay positive. It is so easy to get into a negative mindset when you surround yourself with negative people. So definitely making sure that you are trying to stay positive, that you are trying to keep an open mind. You're just staying positive, okay? It's gonna so rub off on everybody else, and you're just gonna be the bright light of your school. All right, so those are the 10 tips to become a successful first year teacher. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you have watched this video all the way through, please drop a heart down below, and just to let me know that you have been watching. Thank you so much for watching. My Instagram is linked down below. Please follow. Bye.